In this video, I'll be going back to FIFA 14 to turn PRIME Barcelona into Stokealona, with nothing but long balls and two-footed tackles. It's the summer of 2013, and Barcelona are on the verge of setting off a domino effect that will turn them into one of the greatest European sides in history. The Catalan Giants are transitioning between eras, as Neymar has just arrived, while club legends like Puyol, Xavi, and Victor Valdez are nearing the end of their time at the club. Though the 2013-14 season would bring little success, the following season would see the arrival of Luis Suarez, completing the iconic MSN trio. While key signings like Ivan Rakitic and Mark ter Stegen would set the stage for what many would consider prime Barcelona, as they'd begin a new era with a historic treble. However, what if things had gone differently? What if instead of evolving their tiki-taka philosophy, Barcelona abandoned it entirely in favor of raw physicality, long throw-ins, and aerial dominance? What if they became prime Stokealona and brought in none other than Toni Pulis? That's right, Toni Pulis, the mastermind behind the infamous and no-nonsense Stoke City, has arrived in Barcelona. The appointment left the media baffled and fans sick to their stomachs. The Welshman is the antithesis of everything Barcelona stands for. He's known for his direct, defensive, and often downright ugly style of play. In England, he openly despised Arsene Wenger, mocking Arsenal's soft philosophy of technical and free-flowing football. And now he's been entrusted with a club that was renowned for popularizing the tiki-taka playstyle. For worried fans, their fears are about to become full-blown nightmares. As the summer transfer window quickly approached, Pulis was ready to stamp his authority on the club. Pulis wasted no time, quickly overhauling the squad, aiming to add grit and toughness to the team. Fans were dismayed as he ruthlessly sold players he considered too soft for his playstyle. Pulis booted out Cesc Fabregas, Gerard Piqué, Victor Valdez, Jordi Alba, and Dani Alves, deeming them too mentally and physically weak for his team. Fearing the complete loss of the club's identity, the Barcelona board stepped in, declaring Xavi, Iniesta, and Neymar untouchable. Pulis reluctantly agreed, giving fans a brief moment of relief, but that quickly turned to horror when they saw his replacements. First through the door was Andy Carroll from West Ham, a towering target man meant to be the focal point of the attack. But Pulis wasn't finished as he strengthened the defense with Robert Huth, Ryan Taylor, and Micah Richards, all fitting his no-nonsense Route 1 style. Taylor and Richards in particular were brought in for their long throw-ins, which was a staple of Pulis' Stoke City teams. In midfield, Pulis added Marouane Fellaini, whose aerial ability suited his vision perfectly. Pulis also swapped Victor Valdez for Asmir Begovic, a traditional shot stopper who'd stay on his line and hoof the ball upfield to the big man up top. By the end of the window, Barcelona had been reshaped in Pulis' image. Barcelona's once fluid and technical squad had now become a group of towering brutes. A squad of ogres and long ball specialists, Stokealona was now in full effect. Many fans dreaded how Pulis would set up his team, and unsurprisingly he deployed a rigid 4-1-4-1 formation. The system was built around Andy Carroll playing as a target man up top, while Barcelona's wingers, who were once given all the freedom in the world to attack, were now told to stay wide, whip crosses in, and track back. Meanwhile, Pulis packed the midfield with as many tall and physical players as possible, pairing fan favorite Sergio Busquets with Alex Song and Marouane Fellaini. Begovic started in goal with Huth and Puyol in front of him, as Pulis had no issue keeping the tenacious Puyol in the team, while Taylor and Richards filled the fullback positions, with their long throw-ins now a key attacking weapon. Surprisingly, Messi was handed the captain's armband, as he seemingly bought into Pulis' philosophy, or at least tolerated it. Pulis had Messi tracking back and putting in hard tackles, as he embraced the gritty side of the game. The Toni Pulis era at Barcelona began with the Supercopa de España final against Atletico Madrid. In the first leg, Barcelona secured a 2-1 victory with Andy Carroll scoring both goals, as they headed to Madrid for the second leg. The return leg saw Lionel Messi set up Carroll for yet another goal, extending Barcelona's lead to 3-1. Moments later, Messi showcased his brilliance with a long shot effort that struck the post and fell right to Andy Carroll, who capitalized to net his fourth goal of the tie. However, what seemed like a comfortable lead quickly turned into chaos as Atletico Madrid struck 3 times late in the game, leaving Pulis furious on the touchline as his side's defensive lapse nearly cost him the trophy. With the tie finishing 4-4 in aggregate, Barcelona held on to win thanks to away goals. Despite the late scare, Pulis kicked off his tenure in Barcelona with silverware, marking the beginning of what had been so far a controversial and very much unwanted era for Barcelona fans. Barcelona's league campaign got off to a rocky start, picking up just 5 points from the first 3 games, leaving fans dreading what a full season under Pulis might bring. Their frustrations boiled over after a defensive lapse led to a late, nearly 50-yard free kick, which resulted in a goal, costing them another lead. Pulis had promised defensive stability, but the early season performances were anything but that. However, a brace from Andy Carroll and a much-needed bounce-back win against Sevilla ignited a strong turnaround. Barcelona went on a 7-game winning streak, climbing back to the top of the table and silencing some of their early doubts. Fans were left stunned as Andy Carroll, who fans very much disliked, continued to thrive as the focal point of Barcelona's direct, no-nonsense approach. More importantly, the winning streak saw Barcelona at the top of the table, just in time for Pulis' first El Clasico. Despite Barcelona's strong run of form, fans remained frustrated with Pulis, as the team was playing some of the ugliest football the Camp Nou had ever witnessed. Club legends like Xavi were relegated to the bench, while Fellaini was a guaranteed starter. Even left-back Adriano was frequently deployed as a winger. Many supporters believed that Pulis and his style of play were unworthy of the El Clasico, but the Welshman felt vindicated when Fellaini set up Andy Carroll to open the scoring in the 29th minute. However, their lead lasted barely a minute before Isco equalized for Real Madrid, further fueling the fans' frustrations. However, an injury to Adriano finally gave fans something to cheer about, as Neymar was introduced, one of his rare appearances this season under Pulis. This time the supporters felt vindicated as Neymar's brilliant technical skill led to a through ball for Steven Taylor, who in turn set up Fellaini at the back post for a header which restored Barcelona's lead. In the dying moments, Gareth Bale was played through on goal with a golden chance to equalize, but a massive save from Begovic secured a hard-fought win for Barcelona. Barcelona's statement win in the El Clasico propelled them to an impressive run of 19 points from their final 7 league games of the year. Despite their continued frustrations with Pulis' style, fans were left baffled by his success as Barcelona finished the year at the top of the table. Andy Carroll continued to silence his critics as he established himself among the league's top scorers, while Fellaini justified Pulis' faith in him by delivering crucial goals from the midfield. Those supporters remained disappointed by the Belgium's game time over club legends like Xavi and Iniesta. Meanwhile, Lionel Messi was proving once again why he was untouchable. Even Pulis wouldn't dare to drop the Argentine, as he continued to light up the Camp Nou week after week with his brilliance. However, despite their strong league form, Barcelona's Champions League campaign was nothing short of a disaster. In years past, the matchup between Barcelona and Ajax would have been a showcase of Johan Cruyff's total football philosophy. Well, under Pulis, Barcelona had erased nearly every trace of the Dutchman's ideology, turning what should have been a free-flowing game into a physical and scrappy contest, with Pulis disgusted by Ajax's style of play. Nonetheless, Andy Carroll opened the scoring with a well-placed finish, and a well-drilled corner routine saw Robert Huth rise highest to head home Barcelona's second, putting them in control of their opening group match. However, Ajax clawed their way back to level the score, leaving Pulis seething as his side once again squandered a lead. Barcelona's European campaign would only get worse from here, as a narrow loss to Manchester City, a lifeless defeat in Amsterdam, and a dull, goalless draw at home against Celtic, where Barcelona managed just 3 shots all game, saw Barcelona finish bottom of their group, crashing out of Europe entirely, without even the consolation of the Europa League spot. The media and supporters alike ripped into Pulis for his rigid, outdated tactics, questioning whether his philosophy could ever thrive at the highest level of football. In particular, the dreadful performance at home against Celtic left fans enraged. Barcelona supporters, accustomed to nothing less than perfection and thrilling attacking football, were especially vocal in their discontent. Entering January, the disappointing European exit convinced Pulis that his team needed more reinforcements. His first signing was Axel Witsel, who was met with slightly more acceptance from fans, as the Belgian possessed a decent balance of physicality and technical ability. However, any goodwill that the signing brought was immediately erased when Pulis brought in none other than his former Stoke City striker, Peter Crouch. Fans were in disbelief as Barcelona, once the pinnacle of beautiful football, had now embraced yet another player who epitomized everything their philosophy stood against. Just when they thought it couldn't get any worse, Pulis added yet another Stoke City player in Ryan Shawcross to bolster the defense. With the squad now fully reshaped in his image, Barcelona had never been further from their former tiki-taka brilliance. The January reinforcements saw Barcelona win all their league matches in the month. Pulis was once again vindicated as Peter Crouch scored a crucial game-winning goal in his debut against Atletico Madrid. The Englishman scored yet another game winner against Malaga as Pulis' target men continued to get the job done. Meanwhile, victories over Valencia and Real Zaragoza set up an El Clasico clash in the Copa del Rey semi-final. After a goalless draw at home, Barcelona traveled to Madrid for the second leg. As expected with Pulis' ball, a long direct ball from Huth played in Crouch, and the Englishman once again scored a crucial goal. Before spectators could even fully process that Peter Crouch just scored in an El Clasico, Luis Suarez quickly equalized for Real Madrid. The Uruguayan would give them the lead just moments later with a brilliant finish, leaving Barcelona scrambling for another goal. That goal would finally come in the last 10 minutes when a shot from Pedro deflected to Andy Carroll, who powered it home with Diego Lopez unable to keep it out. That goal saw Barcelona progress on away goals to face Real Sociedad in the final, while Pulis surprised the entire league with an unexpectedly strong domestic campaign. Their strong league run would continue as they maintained an undefeated streak in the league over the next 7 games. The run gave them a comfortable lead in the table heading into the final El Clasico of the season, with the opportunity to take a big step towards the La Liga title. The final El Clasico of the season saw a dominant win for Barcelona, with Real Madrid struggling to keep up. A brilliant long-range shot from Alex Song of all people gave Barca the lead, before Andy Carroll scored yet another header to make it 2-0. Once again, Carroll's standout season continued as he surprised fans with his consistency and goal-scoring abilities. He then muscled his way through the defense to finish brilliantly for his second goal of the game, as Barcelona sealed a 3-1 victory, as Toni Pulis had won all his games against Real Madrid in his debut season, something no one saw coming. The win in the El Clasico acted as an unofficial title decider, as Barcelona began to pull away with the league. A string of victories set up a home game against Atletico Bilbao, with a chance to officially clinch the title at the Camp Nou. Fittingly, Pulis' direct Route 1 style was on full display. Micah Richards delivered a precise cross to set up Andy Carroll, who headed home to give Barcelona the lead just before halftime. Then a long ball from Robert Huth set up Andy Carroll, who went through on goal and an Englishman completed his brace. Despite the late goal from Bilbao, Barcelona secured the title with 4 league games remaining. Although fans are still critical of Pulis' tactics, they begrudgingly were forced to acknowledge his strong league campaign. However, the league campaign wasn't over yet, as Barcelona remained undefeated and on the brink of making history. They went into the final game against Atletico Madrid with a chance to become the first team since the 1930s to finish the league unbeaten. As he had done all season, Andy Carroll opened the scoring with, you guessed it, a header. It was followed up with yet another header, this time from a set piece as Robert Huth nodded home a corner to give Barcelona a 2-0 lead. Despite a late goal from Atletico Madrid, Barcelona made history, ending the season unbeaten, a feat not seen for nearly a century. Although their football had been often far from pretty, for once, the fans forgot all about that as they united in celebration. Lionel Messi lifted the trophy as the Camp Nou erupted in joy for their invincibles, with Toni Pulis finally receiving his well-deserved round of applause for his remarkable achievement. However, the season wasn't over just yet, as Pulis had a chance to win a 3rd domestic trophy with the Copa del Rey final approaching. Barcelona would face Real Sociedad, who had battled past Sevilla and Real Betis to reach the final. With the Supercopa de España and the La Liga titles already won, Pulis had the opportunity to complete a domestic treble, a feat few could have imagined at the start of the season. Barcelona came out firing, with Alexis Sanchez setting up Fellaini for a header to open the scoring. The Catalan Giants looked in control, especially after Adriano nearly doubled their advantage with a stunning volley from outside the box. They kept the pressure on as Alex Song cleverly worked space for a shot inside the box, only for the keeper to make the save. However, Barcelona would come to regret their misses, as Real Sociedad struck back with a brilliant cross and finish, leaving them stunned and leveling the scores. Barcelona kept pushing for a second goal, with Adriano getting another good opportunity, only to squander it with a tame shot straight at the goalkeeper. Despite their dominance, the match remained level and the game went into extra time. With the tension mounting, it'd be an unlikely hero who would deliver the breakthrough. A trademark Pulis long ball from Robert Huth found club legend Xavi, who despite being rarely used this season, brilliantly headed home and put Barcelona up 2-1. Barcelona were dealt another gut punch as Sociedad found an equalizer, with Carlos Vela rising at the back post to head home. Barca just couldn't put the game to bed and penalties seemed inevitable. But then, in the 120th minute, Andres Iniesta broke into the box and fired a shot that was parried straight into the path of Peter Crouch. The Englishman volleyed home a dramatic last-minute header before celebrating with his signature robot dance, as Real Sociedad had no time to respond. Barca finally put an end to the thrilling final, emerging 3-2 victors as they completed the domestic treble. Messi would lift the Copa del Rey final as Barcelona ended the season in style. Toni Pulis could proudly declare that his philosophy had been vindicated after winning the Supercopa de España, the Copa del Rey, and going unbeaten in the league. Many of his signings proved to be successes, with Andy Carroll defying all expectations by finishing as the club's top goal scorer with 30 goals, with fans baffled by how effective the Englishman was. Meanwhile, Lionel Messi adapted surprisingly well for the drastic shift in playing style. Though his 28 goal contributions were low by his standards, he still claimed the league golden boot, and more importantly, he played a crucial role in maintaining morale both within the squad and among skeptical fans. Other Pulis favorites had standout seasons as Barcelona transformed from a technical attacking side into a defensively solid Route 1 team. It may not have been pretty, but it was undeniably effective. In the end, Pulis deserved the results, securing 3 domestic trophies. However, despite the silverware, fans were at their breaking points. The club's identity had been unrecognizably torn down, and the sight of long balls and set-piece routines had become too much to bear, as supporters were on the verge of revolting. Pulis had already discarded fan-favorite players who were crucial to Barcelona's past and future. The prospect of losing more technically gifted stars only intensified fans' outrage, and fans knew damn well that it was only a matter of time before he brought in Charlie Adams. Panic quickly set in as key figures began to revolt, with Xavi and Iniesta threatening to leave, and even Messi insisting that it was time to make a change. Both fans and media were worried about the long-term impact of another season under Toni Pulis, with many fearing the future of Neymar and the club's overall direction. Ultimately, the board conceded and sacked Toni Pulis, much to fans' delight. His departure reignited the hope that Barcelona would rebuild and return to its core values. Meanwhile, Pulis felt conflicted, frustrated by the unfinished business and the chance to fully realize his vision. Yet he took pride in returning to England as a historic La Liga champion. More importantly, Pulis saw his success as proof that his style worked, and that tiki-taka was nothing but nonsense. To him, football wasn't about total football or Wenger ball. It was about defense, grit, and getting the ball in the box. Despite being turned on by what he saw as soft players and ungrateful fans who didn't understand the game, Pulis was convinced he had proven his style was the right way to approach the game. And while his time at Barcelona may have been contentious, one thing was clear: Toni Pulis had left an everlasting mark on the club, whether they like it or not. And there you have it. Thanks for watching the video. It was a bit wackier than I'd usually do, so comment your thoughts and let me know any other retro saves you'd like me to do. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more career mode content. Thanks everyone.